Good afternoon. I'm a little red, hair's glowing. I was just out in the sun. Whew, it's fucking hot. It says it's 95 in here, but I'm gonna try and push through this. I just had a moment of inspiration to think about something. So I searched for if a man or woman reach 40 years old and still act like an abusive narcissist, they most likely won't change to be a better person. Okay. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I realized that, I'm 45, and the mothers are my age group. Okay. Amanda is the youngest. She's 2 years younger. Okay. I realized by making all these videos and outside thinking that we're all 40s. We're in our 40s. Okay. And all the women that I've interacted with over the years are acting all like the same. Okay. I brought this up in another video where I'm trying to describe how women my age are all acting the fucking same. It's like some kind of weird, spontaneous cultural thing. And it's not just narcissistic traits. It's just got to be cultural shit, because some things in life you have to be influenced to participate in. In some cases, people don't know about some things, and then they get involved in some things, whether it be drugs and alcohol, sex, theft, all kinds of shit. The older we get, we should be developing and evolving. Okay. Now, I do understand that the women in my life have all had issues. And I didn't really realize that until more recently in life. Okay, looking back at things. Hindsight 2020. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something that you could always catch up front. Okay. And if I didn't go through school and learn all this stuff, I'd probably be stuck with a psycho bitch fucking abusing the shit out of me. Yeah. So, the older we get, we should be striving to better ourselves, to grow and develop and become a better person. Okay? It breaks my heart. It makes me sad. It makes me feel angst inside, knowing that the mothers of my children are all somehow from my perspective, losing their fucking mind. Making weird decisions, life decisions, that impact not just themselves, but the people around them, my kids, the rest of their family, the choices they make. I really don't think it's fair for anybody, man or a woman, to be taking out their traumas on others. I don't. I think it's foul. Yeah, I'm going to read this. okay? Because I'm spinning thoughts in my head about different scenarios, and as you get older, you build up, accumulate all these things in your head, all different things you've been through. Thinking back is not bad. Rehashing the things to grow and develop and learn from those experiences. That's what's important. Not dwelling on the emotion, the attachment, or person, place, or thing, or event. It's not worth it. So I'm going to read this. We'll go from there. Research indicates while narcissistic traits may moderately decline with age, the likelihood of significant behavioral change in someone who has reached 40 and remains abusive is extremely low. A 2024 study analyzes over 37,000 participants found that narcissism tends to decrease slightly over decades, but this does not mean the person will spontaneously become safer or easier to be around. Persistence of traits. Even if symptoms mellow, individuals typically remain more narcissistic than their peers, and those with malignant or severe narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, often become more overly mean and less successful at manipulation as they age. Barriers to change. Clinicians note that less than 5% of narcissists achieve significant, lasting change, which requires rare self-awareness, a genuine desire to change, and 5 to 10 years of intense therapy. Okay? So when I talk about 5 to 10 years healing time, that's no joke. Okay? You will need the same amount of time to heal from the abuse. Okay? Professional consensus. Experts emphasize that love and hope are not effective catalysts for change in a narcissistic personality disorder. Instead, the fundamental lack of self-reflectiveness in NPD makes sustained improvement unlikely without specialized long-term intervention. Okay? So, what this is basically telling us is that for my kids and anybody else watching, if your mothers have not seriously made a change and they're just hiding behind a Bible and repeating scripture out of the Bible to put a mask on, okay, that's fake. That's phony. That's faking the funk, pretending to be better. You cannot fake the funk when it comes to your mental health. Okay? You can't. I don't fake it. Okay? And I teach what I preach. And I live what I teach. I don't teach you kids anything that I don't do myself. Okay? And I've already discussed in previous videos all different things that have happened to me in life. So that should give you kind of a gist of me, my life, the traumas I lived through, okay? And in my case, I was able to dig myself out of that rut. I was able to heal myself. I was able to develop into a stronger-minded man. Once my healing had really set in and really locked in, I became more outwardly expressive. I have no problem with being on camera and posting all my videos to social media. A lot of people would cringe to see some of my videos. Me tearing up, or getting pissed off on camera and cussing and shit. Or anything, okay? Your authenticity comes out during and after your healing, okay? If you're not healed, your personality will show us that you're hiding, you're running, you're not participating in things, you're lying and deceiving, okay? and manipulating. Okay? Gaslighting, future faking, all kinds of different things. That's still narcissistic personality disorder, okay? Or narcissistic traits, okay? You cannot fake your healing and say you've gone through a significant change or gone through a huge transition, as I was told. Bitch, please. Without actually displaying it naturally. Okay? If somebody goes into town and tries to portray that they're healed, but then turns around and scolds somebody for picking up a fucking pencil and putting it in the wrong spot, that's narcissism. Okay? That's just a stupid little thing, but a narcissist would fucking do that. Like, I picked this son of a bitch up and I put it over here, and the narcissist says, no, it's supposed to go there. Don't fucking move it. It's mine. I don't care. It goes there. That's a narcissist, okay? There's so many different scenarios I could go through, but my kids, you've already experienced it with mom, and your boyfriends and girlfriends are, well, doing what dad's describing. The 5 to 10 years of intense therapy for the narcissist is the same intense therapy a victim needs. Okay. And that's something else I need to bring up, the victim part. Okay. To me, a victim should be redefined as somebody that has actually been physically victimized. Okay. A survivor of narcissism would be a little bit easier to say. Okay. But anyway, the 5 to 10 years, the survivor of this abuse has to work on themselves the entire time. This does not mean just going to a therapist. Okay. You got to get yourself out of the house. You got to go socialize. You got to make something of yourself in career, whether you're going to a job or your own business. Okay. To heal yourself from this type of issue, you have to take control of your life. You have to be independent. You have to give the I don't give a fuck attitude off of you without it verbalizing. Okay? Don't sound like the narcissist, but be confident in yourself, knowing that you are now free of the drama and the trauma. And go out into the world and be yourself. And remain single for a while you're healing. Don't just jump from one bed to the next. Okay? 2 of your mothers do that, and that's not good behavior. And it should not be displayed in front of my kids like that. And age gap relationships should not be in front of minors either. So there's all kinds of different spins and dynamics of different situations that you got to deal with. So you just gotta play it by ear. I know I'm kind of sporadic. I'm trying to think of all the different things that I've experienced. Like I said, here's a statement from a narcissist on Reddit. Narcissists, are they capable of change? Ding. Narcissist here. I have learnt, it must be Europe, Learnt, to manage and control some of my traits better. So I guess that is classed as change? No. It's not a disease, so it can't be cured. It's a personality disorder. It will always be a part of who I am, but it does not have to define me, and it isn't my only personality trait. I am capable of changing my behaviors if I believe those changes will be beneficial to me. Okay? That in itself is a narcissistic statement in itself. Last statement. I am capable of changing my behavior if I believe those changes will be beneficial to me. That's what a narcissist does. A narcissist operates on selfishness. If that person can benefit from something, they're going to exploit it. Okay? And this statement in itself is a mask. Okay? Now, I may be wrong, but just by reading that statement, this whole fucking statement, that's a narcissist pretending to be healed, pretending to take control of his or her behavior. Okay? When you say see somebody say something like this, saying, if I believe those changes will be beneficial to me, that's selfish, self-centered, self-righteous, self-absorbed narcissism. Okay? Let's hit the elaborate button, see what else we can come up with. 16 minutes. AI is thinking. Okay, here we go. It's typing now. Oops, that is not on camera. I have to glitch that out. Okay, so far it's still typing more information, but let's start here, top here. Elaborating on the likelihood of change for an abusive narcissist over 40 requires distinguishing between the natural mellowing of traits and the fundamental restructuring of personality. While some surface behaviors may shift, the core pathology often remains entrenched in, or worsens. So basically, the surface level behaviors that people can see outward can be monitored and restricted, but that's just going to make the overall angst, the pathology within, entrenched even worse, because they're stuck in their mind and they cannot physically or verbally express it because they're trying to not outwardly show that they're a narcissist. It's a mask. Okay? Get rid of that. The mellowing myth versus reality. Research indicates that while narcissistic traits, vanity, entitlement, that's the example, may significantly decline for the general population as they age, this does not equate to a sensation of abuse or an increase in empathy. Relative stability. Even as traits decrease, individuals with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, typically remain more narcissistic than their peers. A 2024 meta-analysis confirms that while symptoms may often soften, the disorder is unlikely to resolve on its own. The plateau effect. Personality traits tend to reach a stability plateau around age 40. For someone who has reached this age without significant introspection, the behavioral patterns are deeply calcified. This rank-ordered stability estimated at approximately 0.75. What? I'm out. I'm not sure how they're using rank order stability estimated at 0.75. I don't know what that means. Malignant progression. In cases of malignant narcissism with antisocial features, Aging often exacerbates the condition, as their ability to manipulate via charm or status diminishes due to aging. They frequently become more overly hostile, envious, and cruel rather than kinder. The barriers to therapeutic change. The consensus among clinicians is that meaningful change is exceptionally rare, with success rates often cited between 2 and 5%. Egocentric nature. Unlike other disorders where the patient feels distressed about their symptoms, narcissists view their behavior as justified and superior. They lack the why necessary for change because they do not perceive themselves as the problem. Therapy dropout. Studies show a 63 to 64% dropout rate for NPD patients in psychotherapy. When they do attend, they often use the setting to learn better manipulation tactics rather than to develop empathy. Requirements for success. The few cases of significant improvement require 5 to 10 years of intense, specialized therapy, a genuine desire to change, which is rare, and often a narcissistic collapse, a severe life crisis that forces a break in their delusion. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because this just sparked some thoughts. Okay, so the success rate for change is between 2 and 5%. So, kids, your mom acting the way she is, she's stuck that way. Okay. And the dropout rate from going to therapy is 63 to 64%. So, over 60% of patients that go to psychotherapy that are narcissists drop out because they don't fucking care. They just did it because somebody said they needed to. Okay. A genuine desire to change, which is rare, and often a narcissistic collapse, a severe life crisis that forces a break in their delusion. Okay. Let's make a hypothetical scenario because I've been thinking about this. Okay. Say, for example, Star does get charged for destroying my relationships. Okay. That would be a blow to her ego, to be known as the one who alienated me from all my kids and their mothers. Because all three mothers have admitted they were in contact with Star at one point. Okay. And for Star and Jennifer to have a 208 phone number is really fucking strange. Yeah. So, there's that. And I cannot elaborate any further on that because I don't know that as fact of what she's doing. But I can do a background check and follow fucking phone calls and text messages, and just like anybody else out there that has a badge. Okay. A PI can fucking do those background checks. Here's something different. Okay. Here's something different. Say, for instance, Ace and I met up. We talked about everything, we hashed everything out, figured everything out, and me, Ace, and the young man show up at Star's doorstep. Me holding her hand. That would be a blow to her fucking ego. Okay? If that scenario played out and I walked into the door with Ace holding her hand, knocking on the door with the son standing behind me. That would be a narcissistic collapse, because it would prove to her that she was not successful in alienating me from my kids. Okay. Another scenario. What if just me, showed up with all my kids behind me, pounding on the door, including that kid I can't get a hold of yet, okay, that looks like me, and prove to her who the fuck dad is? That is narcissistic collapse. She would be shocked that I and all the kids show the fuck up and prove to her that the mothers are the fucking issue and she is the issue in her family. Because, well, from experience and research, all women are fucking acting like this at this age. Okay? So, if a man or a woman reaches 40s, okay, you're kind of locked in. All right? Now, in previous videos, I was describing how Gabe was not a mature man yet, because between the ages of 35 or 32 to 35 is when the man's body finally finishes maturity. You are finally a mature man, not a young man, not a boy, but your biological change as a man happens between 32 and 35. Okay. So at 45, going on 46 now, if I acted this way, I would be acting like your mothers. Okay? And because I don't act like your mothers, that's why you guys come to me. Okay? And by making these videos and by talking about this stuff, we are learning together. This is remedial, basically, for me. But going through this with you helps me retain longer term on all the content, okay? And this in itself creates even more significant change in me, because I'm learning about it and I'm nipping shit in the ass right away, okay? So, say for example, if I, at 30 years old, started having those thoughts of change, of wanting to do better with my life, wanting to be a stronger man, wanting to do many different things in my life, okay? It was somewhere between 30 and 35, somewhere, where my mind actually started shifting, and I started noticing my body's changing, okay? I've lost a lot of body fat since you can see my veins, okay? That's muscle, okay? My veins, okay? And my chest is not as big as it was, but I still have a lot of muscle, tight muscle. Your body changes in significant ways. I saw it in my feet. The fat in my feet are going away, okay? These are all examples of your body changing. And it's not just your body, it's your mind. It literally is, okay? Your body's chemistry, your brain, your thoughts, everything is changing. If you don't take the time when you're in your 30s to try to change to be a better man or better woman, by the time you reach 40, you're going to be stuck acting like this. Okay? Start the change now when you're young. Okay? I'm saying it this way because your mothers have kept us apart. You did not get to know how dad handles things. You did not get to know how dad behaves and develops and grows. Okay? You had mom's behavior in your face 24/7. Okay? And for one of your mothers, when she was home. She's home now. But I know you guys had more of a sense of relief when she left for work and drill. So there's that too. You really have to want to be a better person. Okay. For me, the fact that I lost contact with Noah a long time ago, and we just now started our relationship all over again. I told him just the other day, the last time I got to see him was when he was 3 years old. And that really hurt. It made me feel like I was never going to see him again. Okay. But just Noah alone, just the thought of Noah, is what inspired me to continue to be a better man for him. Because that narcissist, his mom, had me convinced that I'm the fucking issue. I'm psycho because I'm a Marine. I'm this, that, and the other. I'm a demon because I believe certain things. Or whatever. It was the psychological abuse of making me feel less than that made me be inspired to grow to be better than. And I turned out to be better than most, including your moms. Okay? So it's not to be gloating about, but it's something to be proud of. I did it. I fucking did it. Okay? I wasn't that bad off to begin with. I had several different scenarios in my life where narcissist was present. And after I left their presence and moved on with my life, things were good until I met the next narcissist. Okay? It's not always a woman either. Okay? In the Marine Corps, I met a shit ton of 6 foot tall narcissistic personality disorders that look and act exactly like the bastard from my childhood. Exactly. You stand them fucking next to each other, looks, behavior, mannerisms, how they carry themselves, even how they sit on the edge of a... You can't see my couch. Okay. Okay, so a narcissist will sit like this, on the edge of the seat, and mind you, I can't cross my legs like a woman, but they'll do it. Okay, that's as far as I can get it. Okay, I don't do that. But they'll also sit all the way back, put their hands up like this, and look down the bridge of their nose. Looking down the bridge of their nose, like this. Looking around the room. Okay, that is virtue signaling. Basically. Thinking they're superior to somebody. Okay. That's also conniving. It's also very disturbing to watch. Because they're eyeballing the whole room. It's like they're planning an entire scenario in their head. It can be scary sometimes watching the people do that. The 6 foot tall narcissistic personality disorder, what I call the 6 foot tall narcissistic personality disorder. It's always the big guy, the big 6 foot tall guy that's fucking arrogant as fuck and looking down the bridge of his nose at me, thinking I'm fucking nothing but shit. Those are the ones that I usually break mentally, because I can go toe to toe with them verbally. I've been fucking trained by narcissists most of my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's a matter of dealing with the situation without them getting to your emotions and putting that fucking mirror in their face and doing it right back at them. And a lot of them don't like it. They don't know how to handle it. They even try to manipulate the situation to make the person that they're fucking with look like that they're the aggressor. Like I just read. Okay? Full camera view. But anyway, we're sitting at 35 minutes now. We might as well just end this. I can keep going and going and going, but I just want to add that in there. I think I should add that to the other video from last night. But I think it's important to reiterate this information and truly hit home with it. Okay. When you reach 40 and you still remain abusive, it's extremely low likelihood that you're going to change. 37,000 people were studied 2024, and this is the result. They ain't going to change. Okay? So, for my kids, y'all, and me, we have to deal with your mom on a very professional manner. Okay? To handle your mom, talk to her in a professional manner. And my message to Star yesterday, or the other day, that I posted in my video last night, that was a professional statement asking her to please express herself and explain why she's giving me an attitude. Okay? And I didn't ask for her life history of her choices and nothing. I asked her directly. Okay, get the contact information for Ace and her real name. The statement she sent is a narcissistic way of avoiding the issue. Okay? These things will continuously come up that way. Yeah, I'm just going to end it there. Just remember, it takes the same amount of time for you to heal that it does for somebody that genuinely wants to change. Okay? I love you and miss you all. Have a beautiful day. And for everybody else watching, thanks for coming by and watching. Appreciate you. Later.